Communication communication is a very vital part of our life, and that is why I said you cannot not communicate. Communication is very key in all of human endeavor, and whatever we do, be it in business, in offices, in the family, we must communicate. This morning, I have a guest in the house, and we're going to be talking about how to communicate and to communicate with our family members. Hi, it's your girl Lucy, and this is Family Unbox, where we bring in, people and we talk about everything that we need to talk about. Today, I have with me a very beautiful woman. You don't want to know how long we've known ourselves. Way back, elementary school, like, okay, when you really, really start out in life. Her name is Joy Ako, a very beautiful woman, and she's going to talk about herself and the things that she does. Hi, Joy.
Hello, Lucy.
How are you? Been many, many years. Been a long, long time.
Yeah, quite some time. But it's
Oh, God.
always good when you connect. It's like yesterday.
Yeah, when we reconnect, it's always like yesterday's amazing. Remind me, we started elementary school, right? B camp.
Yeah, I think we must have been within the range of 12, 14 years.
When
Yeah,
we started
12,
B
14.
camp, no, B camp. B camp was
Oh, wait.
primary
I
one.
thought you were from the other side. Ah, okay then.
Oh, B
So we talk
camp.
about 6 years old,
Yeah,
6, 7. Let's just range it between 6 and
yeah. B camp was
yeah.
6. All those days you had to put your hand across to your ears before you get before you get admitted.
That's
admitted.
interesting.
Yeah, it's not like now where you can put a 2-year-old child in elementary school. Way back then, your hands have to go through your ears, and then
One year.
being a military school, you just have to follow the process. So, how has it been? Okay.
Yeah, I lost you there. You said?
Yeah, how has it been? Life generally from, I mean, B
Oh,
camp, FHS, and then you moved to Ontario, right? And all of
yeah.
that. Just walk us through a bit of what you do, how it has been, and everything.
Okay. Yeah, from way back we come along. We've passed through a lot
Yeah.
and different phases. And then it got to a time you realize that it's never how you map it in your head or chart it. It
Mm.
gets to a point you just go up the ladder to the length where the ladder takes you, and you hope
Mm.
on something else that is higher if you want to go higher. And today I'm
Yeah.
happy. I'm happy for you, Lucy. I'm happy for myself.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, we thank God for life and for opportunities to also give back. I believe that's what we're trying to do.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
you can't give what you don't have, really.
Mm-mm.
So um, to take this up passionately and do it is giving back. I see it as giving back,
Yeah, it
and
is giving back. Mm-hmm.
yeah, it can always get better.
Mm-hmm.
A little about myself. I'm married. I'm a mother of 4 children. I
Yeah.
have 3 boys and a little girl. She's 8. She's 8 now, and my eldest is going to be 16 in July. So um, I've passed through some things with kids, and presently I work with children in the church. I work with the children. I've been doing that like all since I know, because I'm passionate about children,
Mm-hmm.
especially when I don't have any link with them. I'm
Mm-hmm.
passionate because it's not you're my child
Mm-hmm.
or my brother's children or something. The ones
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any link with, and I support a lot of orphanages, not not just financially, but I get them connected to people who could help in adoption, help
Mm-hmm.
with adoption processes, and just there. And I've also worked with there's a bossa that deals with child sexual abuse.
Mm-hmm.
And so for my children's former school, I was on board the PTA for like 7 years. I got to bring her in to talk about this with parents, and working with her, it really opened my eyes to a lot of things I never knew.
Mm-hmm.
I never knew, yeah, about sexual abuse, And then most times it's very wrong the way the society is always capitalizing on the female children.
Mm,
The boys go through more. I'll tell you this.
mm,
Because the society kinds of just let them be on their own, and it affects them up to the age of being men, like crossing from boys to men. It continues, but
mm,
it's an unfair thing, and it's also something we need to talk more about because we're always passionate about the girl child, and I think it's as a result of most times it's us, the women, that take up this, so we
mm,
could relate to it more through the girl child, but it's not the best. There is
mm-hmm.
a lot of neglect on the male child. And I really thank you for what you're doing. And it's an avenue to equally call parents and adults' attention to these facts. Yeah. So I'm
Yeah.
happy to be here, Lucy. I'm happy to be here. And to the best of my ability, I'll just try to talk on the topic before us.
I
Right.
have no doubt you're going to do justice. I mean, I see the things, the amazing things you do on the platform. I mean, I see the outreaches, the call for help. You come crying for help and say, guys, look, support this cause, do that thing and do that thing. And I mean, it's a lot. I remember some years back, I was involved in a lot of reaching out with young people and the male child. Like you said, there's a lot that needs to be done generally. And for someone like me, I think the platform I have is my voice. I've always talked. I talked and talk and talk. So I will allow this as much as I can so that those who have the capacity beyond me can come in and then we can always collaborate. But there's something I want to say before we hit on the topic, which is when is the right time for parents to talk about sex with their children, because it's very, very important. But I will not allow us pass this phase without me first giving salutation to Mr. Ako. That man, you know, I always celebrate him when you throw things, when you throw things, and I'm like, this guy is the bomb, in the sense that he's such a quiet man. How do quiet men marry strong,
Yeah.
outgoing women? It's amazing. But I want to celebrate him. I know he's going to watch this along the line. I want to celebrate him. Thank you for coping with my friend. We grew up tough, rough, and rugged. We our background was not only tough, we were
Yeah,
raised tough. Raised in B camp, Bonny camp, in the
tough.
military. In the military, it was tough, and the whole environment growing up was tough. And then some of us are not as tough as Joy is, and I believe I'm a little bit on the tough side too. But yeah, some of us are not. But for a man to marry a woman, he probably didn't know you were this tough. To marry a woman who is tough gives her the leverage to find expression. He's not competing with you. Honestly, he's the boss because some other people will compete with you. They'll tell you you can't express yourself. But this man, very quiet
He's
man,
very
he sits
supportive.
down
He's
and
very
gives you the
supportive.
leverage. I celebrate him. And to every man who gives a woman, a strong woman, the leverage to be who they need to be, support them, celebrate them, and rejoice in their championship. I celebrate all of you. Honestly, Joe, you're blessed. You probably know and you probably don't know.
Thank you. I
Right.
know, and he's really very supportive, and I just thank God. I can't say more than that. Yeah, he
Mm,
is.
it is. Okay,
Thank you.
we're not gonna hide on anything. We're not gonna waste time on anything. We're talking on when is the right time to talk sex with our children. You've got 4 kids. Yeah, our little girl is 8. When is the right time? You're involved in, and I know your church is pretty big, so your involvement is not, we're not talking of involvement in tens of children, we're talking of involvement in hundreds of children. When is the right time, both as a mother and both as a parent and as a community worker that you are, when is the right time to talk about sex with our kids?
Okay. The this topic is very interesting. It is very apt, I would say, and it
Thank you.
is key. It
Mm,
can make or mar a child's future.
mhm,
And I always say this, we most times as parents or adult or caregivers or guardians, focus more on the grades, on the certificates. That is not what makes the complete human later. It's not. Sex is a very big factor. And right from creation, it's important for God to have created men and women. So sex is key. He would just have made one men all over the world or women all over the world. So it's key. Then secondly, it's something that is very important and should be paid attention to. And that brings me to this when.
The when.
When for me, I can't in my own, this is my own view. I need to state that it's because of the experiences and what I think it should be now. There's no time to peg it because different children have different developmental or maturity levels. There are some 5-year-old that will talk to you and you go, wow. And then you engage a 15 years old child. He doesn't even know a scratch of what that child knows. And then it brings me back to environment plays a key role. Environment on that individual child. So it's now a function of you, the parents, and most times, honestly, is the mother. It's just in few very rare cases that the fathers can handle this. Is the mother. You need to understand your environment, where you're bringing up this child, and know when to bring this up. And some feel, oh no, after his 20th birthday, or no.
Too late.
It is very late. Because you know one good thing, if one, is it good or bad? If you don't, the peer group will.
Oh yeah.
Or someone you don't even send, your gardener or something, because these children we're bringing up now, they're very inquisitive. They want to know, and they get to know, whether you tell them, whether you don't. So the best thing is, I was reading up something this morning and it was talking about parenting communication. You need to actually build up this communication link early enough, and it starts from that moment where you are putting a child to the breast or weaning. Not all women breastfeed, that's another talk for another day, but from the moment that eye contact, you start communicating from when you start nurturing this child. At 1 year, 2 years, because these days you see a lot of barbaric things, people are sexually abusing. It's difficult to talk about it without the sexual abuse aspect. Children of 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, once this child can know that this fire burns me, you start passing the information in bits. And then it will actually get to a time when you now bear it up. Because if you don't, pornography would give them that bare part where you are trying to cover up. And most times, yes, there are so many things. Parental guide, they know how to sometimes know this code, and they put in the pin, we are not home, and they can lock it back. They are that smart. So it's good enough for you to know that I'm dealing with a jet age generation. It can work the way we parents work with it, because for us then, Lucy, is about, oh, my mother should not hear, or oh, my class teacher should not know that, oh, a boy just hugged me. It was that for us, but now with all these things going up, it's really crazy. And
if I will hop in, when did you have this conversation with your parents? My mother told me, I can't remember what age, but it was early enough, because again, I was a little bit late on almost everything. I was late on menstrual flow. I was late on having feminine developments. I mean, you girls were way gone. We're already wearing bra, and I was just wearing the tank. I really was a bit late, but when it came, it just came. I think I started seeing most of these things at age 16, when most people had started seeing it way earlier. And my mother told me, listen, a man touches you, that's the end. You're pregnant. So, yeah, it was a touch. It wasn't, I mean, she couldn't explain it better.
Yeah, It's
How was
always touch.
it? Was the same explanation to you?
Yeah, it
How
was.
come that? Mhm.
My mom, I remember then, she, funny enough, I was closer to my dad. I'm an
Yeah,
only girl child. Yeah, and
yeah,
then I remember that day clearly. I went, I showered, and I was trying to like apply cream on my legs, and I noticed there was blood stain. I'm like, what? Where is this from? I didn't fall down. So I now went to him like, oh, I don't know what happened. I'm seeing blood. And before I got to him, there was more. And he was like, oh, go and meet your mom. Go and meet your mom. She'll tell you what to do. And I was even more shocked that he didn't take it seriously. Like, oh,
seriously.
did you enjoy yourself? And so when I get to my mom, she was like, oh, thank God. She started, then they will use cloths and everything. Oh, put it
Yeah,
here,
it
wear
was
your pants
fun.
and do this. And then
Yeah,
after it stopped, she now sat me down and like, from now, a man cannot touch you. Once a man touch you, you're getting pregnant. Like, pregnant. I was scared. So it was all about the touch until I learned it myself
that wasn't
that
the
it
touch.
actually wasn't touch. But for years, I was very, very cautious about that touch. So when
Mm-hmm.
boys are playing with me, I create my distances and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
maybe I think about ending secondary before. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
you know.
funny
Yeah.
enough,
Mm-hmm.
it was my boyfriend, which is my husband today, that actually
Uh-huh.
put me through.
Yeah.
Yeah, we started in secondary school. He put me through it, like, oh, this, that. We don't have
Yeah.
to do this. Oh, it wasn't my parents, funny enough. But they just told me about the touch. And
The
you see,
touch.
hey, you cannot leave the talk on touch.
They know
No,
better. They
a
know
lot of
better.
things will go wrong. They know better because the exposure is too much. So back to the when. There is no when. There is no when. It is the function of the adults around that child to actually know that, oh, I can pass this message now, and start in bits. You can wait for this day to sit this child down. Okay, after 10th birthday it may be too late.
Yeah.
So you need to be sensitive to the environment. I said environment because there are some people, you live in environment where people are so wild, exposed everywhere, kiss on the street, kiss in the corners. Then I have to start this from infancy. And then if you are in a controlled setting where, which is very difficult these days anyway, because the social media gives it out all to them, the musicals, even sometimes the kind
The
of
videos are
cartoons, some
bad.
of
The
them
videos are
control.
really bad.
Yeah, so it's there's no win for me, no win. It's important to talk about it. What is important is to start talking about it in stages.
I
Like
agree.
we teach them during sexual abuse courses or sessions. Don't let them know that my vagina is my vagina. My dick is my dick. It's called penis. Don't give it to stick. This, go real with them now because they will get it outside, not from you. And then you like, oh, when somebody asks you to sit on his lap, or the uncle or the driver or even daddy, because there are cases where daddies are abusing sons. It's crazy. I think I'll need to connect you with this Christiana. It's wild.
Please.
She was just doing it as advocacy, but now it's gone to another level. She goes to court. People call her for cases. It's turned to something else. She's in court, she's in station, and it just started like, oh, let me just be talking from school to school. But it's gone beyond that for her now. And it's so sad. Some cases you hear is sick.
It is.
So, yes, so it's very important to start early. That's my answer to the when. And then it's not only a parent that can help out, because I find myself in a position where I fit into that role for many children.
Yeah.
Because I work with children, I know some of their parents. I know these parents are off key. And my concern is that this child is good. He cannot lose it. I cannot afford under my watch.
Hmm.
And then it's so interesting.
Commitment.
Some of them just comes to you. They come to you like, oh, auntie, I need to say this to you. I need to talk to you about something. And I don't know, somehow I recognize that look. This one needs an extra time. So I'll
Mhm.
make her time and like, okay, can I give me 30 minutes or give me, and most times it's shocking what you find out. There's this uncle that comes to my house. He just tells me, oh, he wants to see how my blouse, how my boobs sit on my blouse. This is like 11-year-old that is growing fast, and he want to help me set it right. And he's touching the nipple, and I can't tell my mom. And sometimes I just like, oh, okay, who is it to you? Trust me, I'm not going to tell anybody this. Even father won't hear. Then you now see the child will relax. I now notice this mom is all about her makeup, how she appears, and this child needs you. I don't want to go into that's another topic for another day. Let's not digress. But the thing is, there's no when, and you can always press it in little by little. And even these days, siblings abuse the younger ones. So it's a web. The topic is like, an onion has so many layers, but it's important for us not to let our children be in the place of deceit. That's when you let them get deceived by someone else, and then by the time you want to come and remedy, it's late.
If you
And
say there's no when, I relate to everything. I started adolescence and reproductive health way back, I think 2009 into 2010. I did a lot of article writing, I did a lot of publication. So this is a carry on what I have done in the past. And I've seen children, it breaks my heart. I've seen children, look, I've seen children. Look, I saw a real case. The girl was impregnated by the father. It happened in Jos.
it's happening. It's
And
still happening.
they took it was I was taken aback. I couldn't handle it. They took the girl and sent to the grandparents, to the grandmother in the village. And people were saying if she stays, she's going to spoil the mother's marriage. And I'm like, excuse me. Her father got her impregnated, and then
Yes,
she's going to spoil the mother's marriage. What is there a marriage?
it's not
Why
even a
is the culture? Why is the culture so about facades, about what people will say? You are sending this girl to the village. You have beaten her. She's the one who is at the wrong. You were not there to handle anything. And then you've sent her to her grandma, who probably, well, of course, grandma is grandma. She will nurture her and nurture the child. Probably there's no plan B. And the idea is that she's a cursed one. How do we handle? Because look, we can't help it. If there's no when, and I agree, I tell my 5-year-old, nobody should touch your body. Your body is private. We sit down and we talk about this thing because I really can't talk the nitty gritty with her. The best
yeah,
way I
no,
can handle this, yes, is to tell her your hand is yours. God gave it to you. It is private. Anybody who must touch your hand must take permission. Your hair, your leg, this little when, this is how we start the when. And I tell her, you don't dress in the front of a male. These little things is just to keep us sane. But then, Joy, we cannot run away from the fact that there are children, as you and I are talking, I'm not talking of girls, boys inclusive, who
yeah,
have been abused. I have friends way back who have told me that they were abused by their teachers, male friends, their first experience, they were divergent by teachers, educators. These people who have been through this, since there is no when, okay, that means every parent should woman up, man up, and begin to talk about this. But then you just said parents are more concerned about their hair. They spend 30 minutes, 1 hour putting on makeup that will not benefit them in any way. And they don't spend time to talk with their children. Where should these children run to for help apart from social media? Because some of these children don't even know where to go to. I don't know if you're still there, you're frozen. It appears that Joy is frozen. Yeah, so she's frozen. She's been taken out. When she comes in, we'll continue on this conversation. Now, the question I may want to throw out to all of us who are listening is, yes, when and where should these children go to? People that are being abused, where should they go to when this situation come on them? Who should they turn to? Joy said something that I consider very, very important. We spend time on the very mundane. If you check some of my videos, I've spoken about some of these things. We spend time on the very, very mundane things. We're more about the hair, we're more about the makeup in, we're more about the grooming of ourselves. The men are more about sitting out with the boys. They really don't care. They are more about doing what we don't understand. The truth is, these children did not ask to be born. They were not. They did not ask to be born. Welcome back, Joy. I
Thank
was
you.
filling the gap, and again, I asked a couple of questions. I don't know if you heard before you were taken out. Did you
No.
hear? Okay. I was trying to say that you have clearly identified that most parents, male and female inclusive, they are more concerned about the mundane, how they look. Nobody wants to get old anymore. You are progressing, you sleep and you wake up every day. It's just natural. You will
Yeah.
you will grow old. If you don't want to grow old, then sorry, probably you want to die now, because if you're not dying now, you're going to grow old. It's the norm. It's the reality.
Mm.
So we spend 1 hour making up, putting on gadgets of layers of whatever that we're going to clean up at the end of the day. But we're not taking care of the nitty gritty. Now, if there is no when, meaning we are supposed to begin to talk to our children from the basic. Once they can understand you, begin to tell them the value of their self-esteem, teach them that this whole mass belongs to them and they cannot be violated. Where should these children run to? If parents are not there, who should they connect with in the community? How do they identify a safe zone? Do you think you know?
Um, the truth is, it's a complex question that doesn't have one direct answer. I started by saying the environment matters.
Hmm.
There are certain environment now, like e.g. schools.
Mhm.
When I'm searching schools for my children, I look out for one or two things. Does this school has a counselor?
Hmm.
And most times I want to see the counselor and the counseling session. Do they have a particular office for this person? Is
Hmm.
it male, female? What's their experience? You see, there's, especially in Lagos and Lekki where I stay,
Complicated.
most things are business.
Hmm.
For a lot of people, it's business. They are really not concerned about the what it should be, and then it falls back on parents. You're spending so much money. What do you want to pay for? Not
Hmm.
just get this child out of the house for few hours or sometimes, when you need your time to socialize. That shouldn't be the key thing for looking for school. So it's supposed to be that this student should be able to find um someone to run to in school,
Mhm.
the counselors. But so many schools these days, I'm sorry to say, don't think this is important. And I don't know what the authorities are looking out for. I'm just talking about my environment because these are places where I've had opportunities when I'm searching for school. Or sometimes I got people, oh, they're relocating. And then a few people have actually contacted me, oh, Joy, you have time for this? I need help for this. My sister, she's coming back, this, that. She's going to be settling down, starting a new job. And I come in, I do it for free, really. It's because it's passion. I'm even happy that, oh, you identify me for this.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, I just swing into it, and I've been happy doing it. And I've had instances where someone just, as I am now, I have a lot of daughters.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Of course.
oh,
No, but again, Joy, if not the way the world is becoming, we were raised, is she frozen again? We were raised to believe that it takes a community to raise a child. It had never been a one person thing. I don't know how we got to this point where people are negligent. Nobody wants to talk to your child. You don't want people to talk to your child. You were not raised alone. You were raised, you know, you were raised in a community. I was raised in a community. So it took the involvement of everybody to be part of my growing up, my being raised. I really don't know what is happening. I think she's having some issues, network issues, but let's just keep going on this conversation. I've heard people say They cannot talk to someone else's child. It beats me. I can't understand it. It takes everybody. You can't close your eyes to the things that are happening. You can't, I don't know how anybody does it. I just can't. For me, I am hard on communication. I'm hard on staying on. I'm hard on discipline. I'm so hard on it. We have to do this. I can't take my eyes away. I don't care. I will say it as nicely as I can, and then I begin to reinforce it. Of course, reinforcement is not cheap. If you're going to reinforce anything, it means that you're staying at it and you're getting tighter and tighter. If you start screwing a nail or a screw into anything, the beginning is always easier, is lighter. But as you keep at it, you begin to strengthen the screw in. It takes some pressure and some force. I really don't know how we got to this point where people can no longer support the raising of other people's children. I babysit for my neighbors. When I'm not working and I'm at home, honestly, if you just know to call Lucy, are you home? Can I drop my kids? It's a lot. And I say, listen, bring them. Oh, my kids are a handful. I said, don't worry. They will behave. They'll put themselves together. They won't misbehave with Lucy. It won't happen. I don't know how we got here. And then it beats me that, we are abusing our children, like the children we give birth to, even if they are not your biological child. You are a representation of a parent. Let's put ourselves together. It's bizarre. People, for me, sex and sexuality is highly overrated. If you cannot put yourself together, there are lots of other opportunities to explore. Why kids? Why violate the children that you're supposed to protect? So, what society are we building? Like Joy was trying to say, probably there is no when. She gave the conditionalities to the fact that it could be environmental and it could equally be the family structure, the development of the child. If it is environmental, you want to look at your environment, you want to look at the place you're living, how the people in that environment live. And listen, do not beat yourself if you live in a low level environment where sexuality and all of that is on the escalation, is escalated. Do not blame yourself. That is what you can afford to give yourself and your family at that time. But then bridge the gap by coming in and educating your kids. Do not leave this education to social media. There are a lot of bizarre things out there. I see certain things and it beats me. It beats me to the core. Even as an adult, there are certain things I can't sit down to watch because it doesn't resonate well with me. Now, these kids don't even know the difference. And you know that when you watch these things, your body reacts. That is the same way these kids, their body will react when they do watch these things. So if you're a parent and for whatever reason, you're unable to give your children, the high class environment, like people say, and listen, there's no high class. These things happen everywhere and anywhere. But if your environment is more prone to this bizarre things happening in with reckless abandonment, then I think you should up your game. Up your game. Spend more time with your kids. Take them as much as you can with you to the places that you need to be. And then, you know, invest in them the truth that you own. But again, sometimes we parents or some parents do not even have this basic truth. They feel it's okay. And if you're one of those parents, please, it is not. It is not okay. Maybe you yourself were abused and you think it is just right. I mean, what does it matter? It is the more reason why you should up your game and try to make things better. We can't allow this evil, this ill, this wrong to keep continuing. It just can't continue. It's unimaginable. I don't know. My mind cannot take it that a full flesh person, a man, a woman, will pick a child and begin to abuse them. Who does that? It doesn't happen in the animal kingdom. How come it happens in the human's kingdom? I am all about, change and change and change value. Look, if we can create the right value, if we can promote the right values, if we can support ourselves with the right values, it is fine by me. I am more than ready to talk and support and share the ideas I know. Look, let them call you a cake, let them call you traditional. What does it matter? It doesn't matter. Once you're traditional about the things that are right, you're a cake about the things that are right, please go ahead and enjoy it. stay at your game and make sure you do the right thing. Even if it's a handful of us that are ready to just do the right thing, let's do it. It's better than having the world just go, the way it is. We cannot afford to turn our eyes away from what is happening. I'd rather you call me whatever in as much as I'm doing the right thing. I would rather be put aside, be kept aside for doing the right thing than be celebrated for doing the wrong thing. So whether you're my child or not, I am here to let you know that there are systems you can talk to. Of course, it's tricky. You probably don't know who to talk to, right? If teachers are violating children, the spiritual leaders are violating children, parents are violating their children. What more is new? But if you search in your heart, as tough as it is, there is still a pointer. Talk to as many your heart will allow you to talk to. But anyone who begins to get personal after you talk to them, please walk away. For instance, you come to Lucy and you begin to talk with Lucy. You begin to open up yourself and tell her, this is what you're going through, and that is what you're going through, or this is what has happened. And then I begin to come suggestively to you. That is the word. If anybody begins to come to you suggestively, take yourself out of that space. Walk away. There is nothing they have to offer you. If I begin to come to you suggestively, don't miss it. A good hug, we all need it. I'm a hugger. So you talk to someone and they are kind enough to give you a hug of support, it's fine. But when a handshake goes beyond the elbow, it becomes a fight. Turn on your mind, turn on your reality, turn on, your inner self. There is that inner self that nudges us, and it doesn't matter whether you're a child or not. It nudges you that this is not what it should be. Take yourself out of that space and run away. Just leave. So whether you're talking to your brother or your sister, your mother, your father, your teacher, your spiritual leader, your mentor, and the person is becoming unnecessarily suggestive, just leave. It is time to leave. Oh God, I'm so glad you came. I had to keep up for you. Network can be, oh God, I miss when we used to have real life conversation. You sit with people. Well, thank God again for
So
for the internet and all that. Yeah, I was just talking, but of course you can take it from where you were. But I was just talking up to children that they should find people they can trust, and when those people become too suggestive, they should run away. So if a child finds Lucy as someone they can talk with, and then I become suggestive, like you were saying, show me your bra and your blouse, let me see how your breast sits on it, how does that affect anything? Please run away. So please take up the conversation.
yeah, for the few ones, I'm sorry, some things I couldn't control, so I'm back.
Of
For
course.
the few encounters I've had, and some of the instances are actually very, let me use the word pitiful,
Yeah.
because as someone who is not living in the same house with the child, there's a limit to which you can actually advise or get yourself involved.
Mm.
Yeah, I've had instances where you just see it going bad and there's nothing you can do, and there's just
And then
little you
you
can
can't call
try.
the government. Talk to the system. You can't call the system. Like out here, I know if there's a thing like that, you can actually call. Like
That's,
there's
that's the
tons and
difference.
tons of adverts going on. If you know anybody who is going through an abuse, call this number. How can the government come in? There are countries out there that you can't call the government. What is happening?
No, it's same thing here. You can't get the government involved. It's not as if you can't. They have one or two
I don't
bodies,
have a
and then
system.
it falls in Lagos here. I know with the ministry, because I'm involved. There is one or two things in Lagos. You could go to the ministry and get government involved, but it still boils down to, I'm sorry to use this word, negligence. There's
Yes.
no follow up. There's no follow up, and then it gets to a time when you involve the government. They're supposed to go after the family, get involved with the family. So I don't see that happen, except you look for an NGO,
There's
and
no
then
system, Joy. There's
yeah,
no
your
system.
time.
There's no
There's no
system.
system. There
That's
is
what
no
it is.
system. That's
It's
just
just
it.
on paper. There's no system. They're
There
just
is
doing
no
this to
system
give
that
themselves a name.
cares.
There's no
That
system.
cares. So it's really tough for those of us that are involved in these things here. I'm doing it passionately, personally. I'm not getting paid. I'm not looking for how to make money. It's not business. It's just a passion and something like ministry for me. So when I see such cases, there's actually nowhere for these children to run to.
Oh, wow.
You just pray, something just falls in for them, something just works it out for them. And then I've even had instances where I've approached a mom. Is that that was a shocker for me. And I felt I didn't know how to start it up with her. Like, I feel your daughter is being abused within your house. And I don't know if you have time from us to talk about this. And she goes like, really? Are you, please, I hope you've not discussed this with anyone else. I was shocked. Like, I'm like, no, that's why I'm coming to you.
Facade. Facade.
And she gives me like, oh, please, oh, my matters, my family matters are private. My child, sometimes that girl can be funny.
Oh,
And I didn't know how to continue again, because if it was me, if you approach me with this kind of talk about my child, I'm
hi.
sure I'll go like, oh, really? And even like pull out a chair for you to sit. I need to hear what you have to say. But
Yeah.
when someone is giving you, and then I've had an
She's
instance
aware. She
where
knows it.
a
Yeah.
girl of 13, a girl of 13, she comes to church, the children's segment, and she's wearing everything transparent. You could see the pants and the bra, and she's 13 and she has really matured fast. And I called her to the side to talk to her, like, who picked out these dresses for you? My mommy. I'm like, number one, at your age, you should, my daughter from 5, she, on Saturday, you should bring out what you are wearing to church. On Sunday, I need to see them. I've trained her past that, so she knows what she cannot wear to follow me out of this house. It's not like I didn't scold her to it. It's just I trained her that way. By the grace of God, she's working with that. And then I'm not like, at 13, your mom shouldn't even be the one bringing out clothes for you. That's one. Then two, and because she wasn't comfortable actually, even if mom brought out this for you, you should be able to say, oh, mom, I don't like this dress. I don't want to wear this dress to church. And she goes like, and I'm like, you know what, next time it's not harshly, you just say, oh, mom, please, can I wear something else? I don't think I want to wear this. No, just not to hurt your mom's feelings and all that. Because you need, in every situation, you need to create a balance, not like you're turning a child rebellious against the parents. And I just felt okay. She was like, okay, and I let her be. When we closed, this is someone I relate with, and I went to her, oh, how are you? We greeted and everything, and then I'm like, oh, the way your daughter is dressed today is inappropriate. Go, hey, I hope you didn't go there in front of other children. I'm like, no. I called her to the side and talked to her. Hey, I hope it wasn't in front of her younger ones. I'm telling you a fact. I didn't watch it. It's a real life. And I'm like, no, I just need to tell you that, you see, sometimes the way we pick out clothes, if it's for a party or you're taking her, this could be appropriate. Oh, please, 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 madam, I don't like this religious thing about this. You know, religion is a thing of the heart. She goes on, and people should not be criticized for the way they dress. We have freedom. That's, I was just looking at her when she finished. I was like, thank you, and walked off with her daughter. I'm telling you a fact. And so some some they listen, some don't. And what will you do to that kind of child? Because this person may also be leaving that daughter for a driver to take off to school. A lot of times when men are caught like, oh, they abuse the child, they do, someone like me, I don't just go to, oh, he did wrong. A lot of times we actually expose our children, tempt these people over and over and over again. You say, oh, driver slept with a girl he takes to school. How does she sit in the car? Is she always opening her lap?
Were
Do you
you
always wear her things
were
that
we the
open
only
her up?
ones? Were we the only
And
ones that were trained? Close your
I,
legs
I
when you
don't
sit down.
I don't know. Let me tell you, I do, like you said, not tens. Sometimes we have 150 children. You can tell those ones that are trained, that the parents have done some things right. They wear pop socks. If it's short, they make sure. If they are sitting, you, and then there are some you correct now. The next minute you turn, that girl's leg is wide apart. She doesn't even know.
She doesn't.
Then you say tomorrow, somebody was fingering a gardener, a this. They are also. I'm not trying to prove anybody right for doing wrong, but it's a whole lot. It's a whole lot, and then so it now makes it very difficult to talk about who to run to,
Hmm.
who they should run to. In this part of the world, it's just sadly grace. If the child is gracious to find herself or himself in a controlled environment, then lucky child. But the one that finds himself in an environment where there's this pastor Rapo, I don't know if you watch his sessions where he brings out child from abuses, they've already gone fine to drugs 7 8 years, and you go to where he picks them out from, you just see it's a loose environment. So how do you want to even help a child that is growing up in that? He just rubs
Can
on.
I ask you a question, Joy?
Mhm.
Talk about controlled environment. I am hard on discipline. I'm very hard on values. I think I'm hard even on myself. At this age, there are things I cannot do.
True, yeah.
Full grown woman, I can do whatever I want to do. But there are things I permit myself not to do.
Yeah.
And that's because again, I don't know, values they were inculcated in me long ago. Now I find myself back then and now, parents tell me you're too hard. And I'm like, what is too hard? My 5 year old, my 5 year old, just like you were saying, she gets her clothes. I tell her on Saturday, every day I tell her, go get what okay, here we don't wear uniforms at in my
Yeah.
school level. So for now, there are no uniforms and all that. And I tell her, go ahead and get what you would wear. Bring for me to see. I raise my children pretty much independent. My boys, my girls, I raise them independent because that's the tool for me. I started teaching people life-saving skills very early. It would be a disservice if I cannot do the same for my children. So to a large
Exactly.
extent, my children are they're pretty much independent. How
Yeah,
they
same
choose
here.
to use the independence, I don't know. I agree that there are parents who go out there and teach their children values, and those children may choose to use it or not. There's nothing we can
Okay, yeah.
cannot force a horse to drink water, right? Now,
Mhm.
how do you let's talk to ourselves? Let's talk to ourselves. We're adults, we're raised well, our parents were firm, they taught us, they gave us the tools to navigate life. We are not raising our children with those tools, and we're judging people who are trying to do that. If you are not a strong willed person, there are a lot of things I know you're very comfortable financially and all that. So there are things you can afford for your kids, but you're not because it is not necessary. Talk to me, talk to us, talk to parents, the controlled environment parents and the loose environment parents. Please talk to us.
Yeah, like I always say, I don't get into arguments if I don't have facts. So if you bring up a topic where I don't have, I'll just be mute and you feel, oh, she doesn't want to talk. But because when I talk about things, I have facts. And
Mhm.
when I fight, I have facts. And I can go all the way. I'm that is that bad for me. And sometimes my husband will just be like, can you let this go? I said no. It can't go because I have my facts. I can defend this with my last blood, and that's how I walk, even
Yeah,
within the house here. And the truth is that those days, the environment brings up a child. Everybody is involved. The neighbor,
that
the
is
teacher,
it.
your friend,
Every,
an uncle. Everybody
every
is involved in upbringing. You know, there was a time I like to say this. My uncle now he's late, and I wanted to actually, I was trying to get married to a guy I was seeing then because I opted out of this relationship with my present husband. He was my first love and all. And they've come with everything cola nut. And my father said, no, I know this child. It's my only child. I can't to another language or religion.
hmm. Oh network. This is a beautiful conversation.
It's a call,
Okay.
or religion. And I tell, and then I was hell bent. I almost ran away with the guy. And then I went to visit my uncle, and he sat me down.
Hmm.
I wasn't expecting it. And he said, "Do you know that your father loves you? Do you know that you are the apples of that man's eye? Do you know that today, if you mess up,
Hmm.
your dad will not last one more month. He will die."
Hmm.
And and you know what? That got to me beyond maybe a beating my father would have given me for that
Then you,
situation. Yeah, and then he didn't say too much, and he said, "I am also proud of you. I use you an example for my children. Please, Joy, don't fail us." And that was all that situation needed. Nobody
wow.
beat me. Yes. On my own, I sat down, I reviewed the whole thing, and I called up this guy and I said, "He's in the US today. We still chat." And he said, and I told him, "I'm sorry, I can't go on with this." And that was it. So this is part of environment matters. And then everybody trains up a child. Then
But now,
now,
in the same
the con-
situation,
the
your uncle
control.
will tell you, do whatever you want to do. Take the
Yeah,
decision
no,
you want
your
to
uncle will say, "Follow your heart."
follow your
Your
heart.
uncle,
Yeah.
he- your uncle will say, "Follow your heart." Your uncle will say,
He won't even give you his thoughts. Give the
"No,
thoughts and
no."
then
He
leave
will say,
the
"If
person to
your
go.
father says he's not coming for the wedding, I will be
I
there."
will
That's
come.
what
I'm
that's
like
what's
a father.
happening now.
What
That's
are
what's
we
happening
doing?
now. And 2, 3 years down the line, that girl divorced with a child. She's single mom. There are so many of them because of one wrong decision. And that brings me back to your question that controlled environment and non-controlled environment. Even I've said before that environment plays a big role, but the only way I see out of this is just try and make a child know the value of him or herself.
Mm.
Like my children, yes, that's
Self-esteem.
the
Mm.
angle I'm taking it now,
Yeah.
because the distraction out there is 95%, and what you can do is 5%, Lucy. Just take it from me.
Maybe 1%. Five is even
Yeah.
huge. Oh
So
God.
you can't fight it. I have turned to working on my children's hearts, giving them this image of themselves in their head. And then if you know that my daughter, you're a princess, you're a queen. So we now go into what a queen is, why is she respected, why is she regarded, who comes to ask for the hand of a queen in marriage.
It's a
Sometimes we
journey.
act it, maybe because I have the time, we act it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
sometimes I just try to give you that thing in your memory, because today I am someone that, yeah, people see me, oh, very strong, all this, but at certain landmarks in my life, I've had to take decisions on what do I want for myself. 10 years back, 20 years back, or when I die. I was telling someone last Sunday, I said, if I die today, I'm not afraid to die, but I'm just afraid of the legacy I'll leave behind. When
Mm.
my name is mentioned 50 years back, later, what will they be talking about?
Mm.
That is what I'm focused on now. People love, "Oh, I don't want to die, I don't know, God's cancer." Please, I'm just focused on, I want to leave a mark, and something that maybe if it's even 1% that can you make use of it in the next generation, I'm fulfilled.
Yeah.
That and also making heaven. That's the two things I focus my life on. And I'm trying to touch lives. And I've seen this loose part of the system which I can apply myself, and I'm doing that in all honesty. And I tell my children, my sons, I tell them, see, no woman will look down on you if you are responsible, even if you don't have the money. You may have prospects. You have to make you believe in you.
Mm.
You don't need to get into drugs to have this regard from your peer groups or other people.
No.
You don't need to have you don't need to belong to a gang.
No.
You can create a gang and be a gang leader. How? A gang of successful. My second son, I taught him something before, his former school created a club because of that. The time he was waiting for his JSS1 result, I put him into barbing. He learned haircuts.
Mhm.
Yes.
That is what we were raised to do. My boys, the
And
same
then
thing.
my
I made them
husband was
learn
like,
skills.
"Yes, why are you doing this to this child?" I
Why
said, he can't sit here and be playing
not playing
games.
games
Yes, I'll
when
go and
he's
drop him
supposed to
there.
go out there and
Sometimes.
do things?
And then he said, "Do you know that Ibabin Salon is where they can pick?" So what I started doing, no, 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 yeah, 2 hour session, I sit there. I'm
Yeah.
sitting somewhere there. I'm not sitting with where he's getting. I sit somewhere there. I'm reading. I'm chatting, but I'm around. So
Yeah.
we did this, and then he went to school. He was a Catholic school, boarding school. The day I went to drop him off, and I told the principal, who is the Reverend Father, "Oh, sorry, I just want to tell you something about my son. He's a baba." And he was like, "Really? When the school baba comes, I just want to appeal to you
Let
to
him
give
help.
the children haircut. No, not help. Let
Okay.
him just stand there and be watching so that he doesn't forget the skill." That was
Mm.
what I approached father with. And father goes, Excuse me, mama, you mean he
Yes.
has the skill?
The skill.
He can do me.
Hmm.
I say, "Yes, he's doing it for his younger ones and his elder brother." Say, "And you say this child is 10?" I said, "Yes." "Excuse me, he's going to be giving a haircut to
The
his
school
mates."
baba.
I
Wow.
was like, "Are you serious?" He said, "Tomorrow, come back. This is like a journey of about an hour and a half. Bring back all his kids." I did. Guess what? The end of the term, father has made my son
A teacher. A
a
barbing
teacher.
instructor.
They now formed entrepreneurs club. He taught girls
How to
how
barb.
to give a haircut. And
Yeah.
those of them that were in the club, they give this haircut not for cash. They have this thing called tickets or something. So the classmates pay with that. Do you know that before he left that school, I was not dropping pocket money for himself and two other siblings? Because yes, from the tickets he earns,
He
they
feeds.
can, and then they now started entrepreneurs club. My son was the president. He's, remember, a junior student.
Yeah.
So they build it up. They now had poetry session. So I teach them you can be a gang leader.
Yeah.
And you know the disconnect here. Lazy mind or idle mind is a devil's workshop. Get their mind busy. It's not easy to do, but if, like, you talk about values, that's the only way I see to that in the environment where we are, even the loosed environment.
Yeah.
Get them busy. Don't feel, he's done with just three, he has to wait 3 months for his results to come out, he should just be home. He will go on internet and stuff and see things. Or like my first son now, he's about finishing work. I've gotten him 2 places going to work already. And I make them understand that it's not because of the money. I can't have his age at home. And I
Doing
go out and I
nothing.
come back and I'll come back and I'm telling him, "Why are you still sleeping? What you are doing a disservice to that child." Or he tells me, because there was one holiday, all what they were doing was, "Oh, my friends are going to watch cinema today, bro." This is it. So they are all gathering for nothing. Yes, somebody will introduce something and trust me, they will pick it up. And you can't blame that child.
Of course.
So I'm already creating an environment to get him busy. He will, last holiday, he worked in a cinema house.
Yeah. They're learning
Yeah,
skills. Yeah.
he worked there, and I told the man, it's not about the salary. How much are you willing to give? I
Yeah.
was
And he'll
adding,
be
I was
happy. He's
adding,
earning
I
money.
was adding my money. Sometimes you come back, "Mommy, you're just forcing me to be an." I said, "Don't worry, please,
Oh, okay.
just." And guess what? Now he's telling me his friends say that I should help them get a place to work at it. And
I
that is when
have
I tell them,
similar situation.
no, gang leader, you can lead your own gang.
Yeah.
Ganging is not bad, but what are you ganging up for?
Going
So you
on.
see, let's teach them values. And I tell a lot of people, you're young now, you can do it. We have some mothers that were ignorant of this. And today, please help me pray for my children. They don't listen to me. They don't, it's late.
Mm.
God will not, I don't want to be too harsh on that, but I tell them God will not answer this kind of prayer. I will not commit to this prayer because you didn't put in anything and you want to carry something out. It's not logically possible. It's tough, but you have to manage it. Forget about blaming, because we are just good at blame games. The school this, that. The other Chrisland incident, I refuse to comment anywhere, because if I give my comment, you feel I'm unreasonable, or because it's not my daughter. This is a 10-year-old girl. She has her own. Let's talk about something else. I've said I'm not, because they're blaming the school, blaming this, but we all know where the blame is from. We
Mm.
all know. It's home. It's home. My children are in school today, and anytime I go visiting, teachers praise like, how did you train these children? I just say it's the grace of God. I'm not worried about what they are getting involved or not getting involved. And when they come back, I discuss with them, and they complain about, oh, there's this boy, that boy is destroyed. Oh, there's this, he doesn't even read. I have sitting down to advise him and say, you know what? Try to pray for him. I'm not bragging, but I think I've paid my dues. And for some parents, it's not late. And the victims are actually these children. And I'm just appealing to mothers. Trust me, in 90% of the cases, it's mothers. It's what the system or Africa has made it, and we have to live by that. Please, we need to balance it. I know a lot of mothers are the ones fending for the home. You need to get talking to some people, and they give you all the reason why they cannot kill themselves. Then don't bring in the children. You don't have to become a parent. That's why the white people they nurture dogs, just do that. It's harsh to talk like this, but it's the truth. You just want to bear, oh, I'm married, I have 3 kids. It's not a status thing. It's, for me, it's sacred. Because there are some people who don't have these children, and then there are some, it's a full human being. If you look at it from that angle, you feel the need to actually pay attention. I don't know, it breaks my heart even as I'm talking now. It's maybe because I'm involved or deeply involved. It's beyond your status. It's beyond being Mrs. This and, oh yeah, she's a girl, she married, she works, she has cars. It's beyond that. You must not have children. It's not a must if you know you're not ready for it, because the society allows a lot of things, and it also allows that it's your choice. Then you really check it. I can't take care of another human being, so I'm not having. So if you get a man who doesn't, who feels that way, then you connect with that. And I think because it's so unfair what a lot of children go through. If you go to some orphanages, there are neglected children. A lot of them, shockingly, they are not fatherless and motherless. I'm telling you that as a fact. As
They
a
were
fact.
abandoned.
No care.
I agree.
And the parents don't care. There are 3 now that are on scholarship, and they are very intelligent. And the father cares less. And the mother says, well, I can't kill myself. And the shocking thing is that some of these parents, when you see them, they look good. They do everything to dress well, to make up, to get the wigs. it, it's tough, really. When I saw the topic, I was like, oh, this is a good one. But I know it's really difficult to crack it.
Yeah, it
This
is.
is a social media thing. I know a lot of people may not be agreeing with my views. These are my own views and from my own perspective, and it's a
Experience.
free world.
And from your
Yeah,
experience.
yeah, and it's a free world, and you may not agree with my views, but I'm just talking from a passionate angle and from something I'm committed to, and it's really unfair on the children.
I agree with you.
And the right time to talk to them about sex is now. It just may be the level you go into talking about it. But you need to start today, especially for the boy child. And there's this sensitive aspect because most of us, we are grooming them to send them abroad, and same-sex things, I don't know how to say that, are allowed over there. These are things you should start talking about now too. Yes, it doesn't change the fact that you can never tamper with the choice of that child. If he comes back to you and say, oh, I'm just loving boys now and he's a boy, just be okay with the fact that, oh, you did your bit. Then he
Yeah,
made
so
he
yeah, I
made his
was
decision.
yes, I was actually gonna jump in to say that um for parents, honestly, parenting is a huge responsibility. If you're a parent and you're watching us, honestly, male or female, no excuse. Joy has been able to narrate to women. I agree the responsibility is a lot on women, but for me, balance is key. If you're a man and you have decided to be married and to have kids, it's your responsibility to make sure you take care of the kids too. Nobody is given. But I would want to quickly say that you have given in your best as a parent. You've raised your children, and for whatever reason, they are not responding the way you wanted them to be. It's a phase. I've
It's
read
a phase.
stories, yes, I've read stories over and again of children who went overboard. I have stories of people who told me they were jailed. They were jailed. It was in the jail that they started asking themselves, where are they headed to? That they
Yeah.
made a flip over. But their parent gave them the best. I
Yeah.
know also of, I mean, a man of God, well celebrated. His daughter became pregnant at age 13 and he is
Mhm.
married. His family is good. He has other children, I think 5 or 7 children. But then this child got pregnant at age 13. So it's not whether you're a single parent or you're a full flesh husband and wife. It is not. Some children will just go their route. And
Yeah.
some other children are just all put together. You speak to them and they listen. So, wherever you are as a parent, I would beg of you, don't kill yourself, don't judge yourself, put in your best. What Joy and I are trying to say is put in your best, give in the work. Just like we were pregnant and it was hectic, we carried it all through and then we pushed out the baby. Put in your best. And when the best is enough, relax. You can't
Relax.
kill yourself.
Yeah. And then the outcome is the outcome. It's just then your conscience will actually free you that I did my best. Because the truth is you can't control the outcome, but you can be
No,
part of the process that use that outcome.
I
And
agree.
whichever way it turns out, then we can always fall back on grace.
That is the
That's it.
word, Grace. Wow, Joy, it's been an exciting conversation. Network was funny, but we're
For
able to pull it through. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you,
yeah.
thank you. I appreciate so much. And yeah, you spoke about connecting me with this other lady. I will be on your matter until you connect me with her.
I'll put a word across, and then it's crazy.
Yeah, I know.
It's something. It's sad where it is now. It's really sad. The sexual abuse thing. it's
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 sad.
it's
It's sad.
crazy.
What can be
You
more
can't
sad when a
begin.
father is impregnating the daughter? What can be more sad? Or a mother is calling the son to come and lay with him? Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, and then it's terrible when siblings are into it, and the parents, some the parents are aware,
No. Yeah.
and they're okay with it, like, well, it's
No, they
love,
are not, Joy. They are
it's the
not, but they
nature.
don't know what to do. They are not. No, Joy. They are not okay with it. They just don't know what to do.
Okay.
I
All
think,
right.
I think, I think, I don't think any parent in the right senses will be okay. But when the reality is there and you don't know what to do, I don't know. That's why there's a lot of depression. Look, this is a conversation for another day. It just
It's
moves.
another day,
It
really.
just
It's another
moves
day.
from
So
one point to another. Honestly,
it's
thank
another
you
day.
so much. Thank you. Do you have one last word to parents and to children, to everybody? What would you just say to us very quick as we wrap up this
Oh,
conversation?
okay. All I want to say is the world is a beautiful place, and then the life is beautiful, and it can actually continue to be beautiful if we just make up our minds to be product of our decisions,
Mm,
and also try to be mindful of the next person. Like,
mm,
I want my decisions to also help out the next person. I think
mm,
if we all live like that, it will be a better place. That's you
mm,
caring about someone not losing his life or
mm,
destiny or messing up his chances. It's just
mm.
about love.
Well,
It's a beautiful place, and it will continue to be a beautiful place. If not, whether you're a parent or not, or single or small child, just be mindful of the next person. It
mm.
will be a better place.
I agree. Honestly, Joy, thank you so much. I bless God the day we met. I mean, it's such a beautiful space. And I want to commend what you're doing. You're doing a great job. I mean, some
Thank you.
women having the kind of privilege you have will just sit down and be nothing. They enjoy their life. I mean, their children are put together. They have money to spend. Everything is fine. It's good. The guy goes out there, bring money. You're comfortable. Some women won't bother. But because
Uh,
you're who you are, you go out there, you push. You know, your pushing is not necessary to bring money to the home, but you're there and then you're living in the lives of other people's children. You're using your family resources to help other children. I just want to say thank you. Um,
Thank you.
the atmosphere, the universe will bless you. And tell your
Amen.
husband thank you for me. He's an amazing
Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Joy. Honestly, I am so excited to have this conversation. It's deep, it's intense. There is no end to it. As we're talking, there were other things that were coming to mind. I could have expanded the conversation to that direction, but to stay in line and to make sure we don't go out of context and not go out of time, we just had to leave it within the conversation we're having. Look, the right time to begin to talk about to your children about their sexuality and the way the life that we're in responds to sex and sexual abuse and all that is now. It's not tomorrow, it's now. If you have a 2 year, begin to talk to them. If you have a 5 year, begin to talk to them. If you have a 10 year, begin to talk to them. If you have a 15, begin to talk to them. The truth is, the depth of the information can be reduced. If you want to know what to talk to your child about, shoot me a private conversation. I have my email address on my platform, Family Unbox with Lucy. You can shoot me a private conversation and we will definitely have this conversation so you know how to bring up on this. I have been in this for so many years, and in as much as we're all in this together, we can support ourselves and grow a community. Again, please like this channel, subscribe, turn on your notification button, share this video to other people, and let's build a community of value. For me, value is key. Value is the essence for which we're here and the things we do. And to the parents out there who have done all they can, yet their children have not turned out the way they want them to, just take it easy. There is the orchestrator of life who orchestrates everything. You can't miss it. Just take it easy and keep praying, keep trusting, keep believing, keep pulling the resources of the universe to ensure that that which you desire over your kids will come. And for those parents who are being laissez faire about what they are supposed to do, it's time you up your game. Don't bring cute children you're not ready to raise. And if you've brought them in, rise up to the occasion and begin to do that which you need to do. It's Family Unboxed. Thank you for having me, Grace Your Screen. I will come again with another very exciting conversation. I will source the community and bring in resource people that I know can be of great benefit to this community so that we can learn. Until I come your way again, it's your girl, Lucy. Have a blessed one and stay well.